From the Vox Populi studios in Miami Lakes, we bring you the Miami Lakes Business Podcast. And today we have a friend, a real good neighbor. It's been the company that he represents was the first member of the Chamber of Commerce here in Miami Lakes. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Luis Martinez. Luis Martinez is the Executive Vice President for the Graham Companies. So welcome, Luis.
Well, thank you, Fred, for having us. Congratulations on the podcast, and happy to be here.
Thank you. So let's get right to the subject. Let's talk a little bit about the Graham Companies. You know, people hear about the Graham Companies, but most of the people here in Miami Lakes probably don't know the depth of the company. Talk a little bit about the beginnings.
Sure. You know, my pleasure. It's quite an interesting story, really. My wife, Beth Graham Martinez, her grandfather, a guy by the name of Ernest R. Graham, went by the name of Cap. And Cap was brought down here by the Pennsylvania Sugar Company, known as Pensuco. And they brought him down here to grow sugar. They made money up in their neck of the woods growing beets. And they knew they were going to come down here and make a bunch of sugar, growing sugar cane, and make a bunch of money. And so they came down here, and in the 1920s, Cap got started. And they had nothing but disaster after disaster, floods, hurricanes, the big hurricane of 29. And come 1931, they were tired of getting beat up down here, and they sent Cap a letter, which hangs in our office. And they basically said, Cap, we got two choices. You can come back up, and you have a job up here, or you can stay down there. You can have the land, you can have the equipment, but no more checks. It's all on you. And Cap took option B, and that was literally 90 years ago. Cap was a farmer, and he didn't stay in the sugar business, but he was already running some dairy cows to feed the workers when they were here. So he got into the milk business, and we still are in the dairy business today. Our farm is up in Moore Haven, Florida. We milk 3,000 cows a day. It's a big part of what we do. It's in our heritage, and it's a good business for us. And so they muddled along and got into the dairy business and ran some crops, and we still have the Graham Dairy milk bottles and the crates and hanging around. And then my father-in-law, Bill Graham, decided that instead of selling land, because Cap was they were knocking on his door every day. Somebody was trying to buy his land back when Miami started really growing in the 50s. And my father-in-law, Mr. G, as I call him, Mr. G, he said, no, let's not sell that. Let's do something really different and something really cool. And he literally traveled the world looking at developments to do something special with the land up here. And they hired some really bright people. A guy by the name of Lester Collins, who was the dean of architecture at Harvard, and was a land planner. And they brought Lester down here, and they came up with the concept of this new town where the live, work, play. There are a lot of concepts that make Miami Lakes special, with all the neighborhood shopping centers. Concept was that you were going to have a place to buy a gallon of milk or get a haircut, within a mile of every home. So that's why we have these neighborhood centers. A town center, like where we sit today, which would be like the hub of the town. And we've, pretty much since 1962, when we started the development of Miami Lakes, have stuck with that plan. So it's been a long time. We've proceeded slowly. We're towards the end of development in Miami Lakes, but we're very proud of what's happened here in Miami Lakes and the growth that we've had.
And you should be just as proud as we all feel, to be residents of this beautiful city. To this day, I understand that the Pensuco house still stands.
Yeah, it's there. It's in disrepair. There's really not much you can do there, and it's that area has become a very much of a commercial hub on Okeechobee, right by the turnpike extension there. So the house still stands today, but it's not in great shape.
Mm-hmm. No plans for that in the future?
No, it's one of those emotional ties. So we'll see.
All right.
But no real plans yet.
So what kind of what's the working process right now with the Graham companies? What are you guys involved in right now?
We're pretty busy. We got some new projects underway. We're currently building South Point, which is a mixed-use building or mixed-use project over on Commerce. About 15,000 square feet of retail on the first floor, 179 apartments. And if you drive by Commerce, you'll see they're going like crazy. That's moving along pretty fast. We are still very much trying to get the seniors village done in Miami Lakes, which is a key component that we miss, and we're working very hard to get that done. We hope to have a breakthrough there here within the next couple of months, and hopefully we can start construction of that project by the end of the year. And then we have a super exciting project, which we were fortunate to get our site plan approved at the town last year with the redevelopment of the property by the golf course. We're going to build some residential units with retail on the first floor. It'll be a beautiful project, not unlike what we have here in Town Center, real high-end, real high-quality stuff. We're going to redo the whole clubhouse where the old Shula Steakhouse was. That's going to be a state-of-the-art meeting facility in the town where you can have your weddings, you can have your quinces, your big parties, 250, 300 people. And it is going to be absolutely beautiful with a clubhouse. And then adjacent to that will be the golf pro shop, and we'll run our golf operations. And then we have the third part of that proposal is something that's really exciting. We're going to build let's call it a Top Golf Light, something like that, where we're going to have a beautiful building out on the driving range with a full bar, restaurant, covered hitting bays. It's going to be super high end. And part of that is bringing the first tee to the town of Miami Lakes. We've recently signed an agreement with the First Tee. We are their headquarters in Miami. The First Tee is an absolute smash of a program, helps kids with learning not only about golf, but life lessons. They do after-school tutoring, learning about discipline, learning about responsibility, learning about fair play. And it's run by a gentleman by the name of Charlie DeLuca, who happens to be a town of Miami Lakes resident. And we're very excited about the First Tee coming to Miami Lakes. So we got a lot going on.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful, Louis. I'm going to ask you a question, which I think is in the minds of our viewers. How is that going to affect the traffic in the town?
Well, Fred, traffic is unfortunate. But it's a fact of life of living in a large metropolitan area. And we are going to take some steps to help the traffic there. We are going to build some right turn lanes on 154th Street to alleviate a little bit of that traffic. We're going to build a right turn lane into the project. It's interesting with traffic because the naysayers always say, well, of course the traffic engineers that you hired are going to say that it works. I look at it a little bit differently. We're getting ready to spend $110 million on that project. And if it doesn't work, Louis Martinez is not, it's the future, that's not great. So
we degraded from executive vice president?
Yeah, I'll be an assistant, maybe assistant vice president. So, we take it serious. It's a big part of what we do. So we've hired the best to look at the impacts that's going to have in the area. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not going to have any impact, but I will tell you that the impact is justifiable. We actually had them do what's called a warrant analysis to make sure that a traffic light was not warranted at that entrance, and that, because if it was, we definitely would want to do it. So we take traffic seriously. We hire good engineers to give us not what people think that we want to hear. We want to know the truth. We want to know if to spend 120 million dollars on a project is the right thing to do. And so we're comfortable and confident that it'll work.
Good. And I think that's that's great news. And I know relate to what you just said. I know that the area of Windmill Gate, where the shopping mall is,
right,
that you guys built an extra right lane entrance into Pollo Tropical, right, to make it easier for people going in there.
Yeah, every time that we have an opportunity, the town and the town manager and town staff, we work with them hand in hand. And anytime that they identify a project that can be that we can have an impact with and help with, we're happy to do it. What happens with like the right turn lane and some of that work, the synchronization of lights on 154th Street. Every time that we build, we pay literally millions of dollars in impact fees, and typically goes to the county. But there's a program where you can do what's called a contribution in lieu, and so if the town identifies improvements where we can take some of that impact money and help with apply it to a project. Of course, that's what we want to do. And this is our home, and anything that we can do to improve the quality of life here, that's what we're going to do.
That's very good. Yeah. That's very good. Tell me a little bit about the company. How many people do you guys employ? In Miami Lakes, when we have the farm, we have our Georgia operations. We're run about 250 employees throughout all our operations. And we have a pecan orchard in southwest Georgia and in a city called Albany, right outside Albany. We have a commercial Angus herd that we have up in Albany. We're in the timber business up in Albany as well. Like I said, we milk the cows, and we have the dairy operation in Moorhaven, Florida. And then the bulk of our real estate assets are here in Miami Lakes. All right. We talked about, the cows. People thought at the beginning that the cows were going to stay all over the place. Here now, I think they are restricted to the one area there around Commercial Way. Is that going to go away, or? Yeah,
the cows eventually will all be gone. It was never contemplated that Miami Lakes would be a pasture land. One of the key things that has allowed us to grow in the manner that which we've grown, which is kind of slow and steady, is by having the cows are here. You get an agricultural exemption, so you don't. Your property taxes are very low, and while you have the cows there. For developers, obviously, if you're paying a bunch of money in real estate taxes, you hurry up and you're going to have to get that cash register flowing right away, so you develop faster. So by having the cows there, we've been able to go slow, and that's been a good thing, I think, for the town. Because we've been able to grow, modestly and through, again, since 1962. Right. And we still have some land that's undeveloped here. But eventually, as that land gets developed, the cows will go away.
We'll go back to the farm.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of people may not know this, but the Main Street area, shopping area, is actually a mall. That belongs to the Graham companies, and you guys rent out the space there.
Right.
Are there any plans in the future to remodel Main Street?
Absolutely. Our commercial team is continually and constantly evaluating, Main Street and what to do there. I don't know if you're aware, but we've signed some really good leases with some high-end, high-quality restaurant operators on the street, and restaurants that will be opening here in the next couple of months, some that have opened already. And the actual physical appearance of the street is being evaluated as we speak, and hopefully within the next 12 to 18 months, you'll see a significant, some plans to significantly improve the Main Street and the look of Main Street. So
that's good.
We're excited about that.
That's good. One that comes to mind is the new Masonic right around on the circle.
Yeah, Amazonia has been very successful. They're getting great reviews. Peruvian, Asian fusion food, and with some really good operators.
And Corner 67 has been a success.
Corner 67 is doing great business. They've been super well received. Again, great reviews. Go on any of the websites, and they are doing very, very well.
Any immediate plans or in the future to do some remodernization of the hotel on Main Street?
Yeah, the hotel on Main Street is always been it's a great amenity for the community. We understand that. It's a tough business to be in. We're not oceanfront. We're not a chain. We're not a Marriott. So it's always been a bit of a challenge for us. But to answer your question directly, yes. Again, we're always contemplating and evaluating our existing properties with an eye towards what we can do to improve them and make them better. So yes, you'll see that.
And you guys did a great job in the shopping center. I can't remember the name right
Cypress
now.
Village.
Cypress Village, by the where McDonald's is.
Correct. Yeah. And that's the type of thing that we will continue to see throughout Miami Lakes. It's not just some of the new development, but the redevelopment, if you will, of our existing properties to bring them up to today's standards.
Well, that's certainly great, Louis. I really appreciate you being here with us today and telling the people what the future looks like and what the present actually is, happening right now, which is everybody wants to know. We love that you accepted the invitation to be with us today. And there you have it, folks. This is our second episode of the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce business podcast. Which is like I told you at the beginning, we are very proud and very honored to be part of this. I don't think there is any other Chamber of Commerce in the immediate area in South Florida that actually has their own podcast. And the whole idea with us doing this is to bring to you the people that do business here and have invested the money in this town to serve your needs. But of course, the Graham Companies is the number one landowner, I would say, or the biggest landowner in the town, and a family that has great history. One of the other brother that Louis didn't mention was Bob Graham, who was a governor in the state of Florida for many, many years, and a good governor, and then he was a senator for more years as well. So it is a family that actually created what we are all enjoying right now, and are continuing to invest, in the community. So I thank you, Louis, for being here.
Fred, my pleasure, and I'd want to say thank you to you for all you do for our community for the many years that you've been doing it, and good luck with the podcast going forward. I'm sure it'll be great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and until next time.